All right, sitting here with Lance Baxter, who's running in the Republican primary runoff for Collin County Court at Law number 3. Thank you, Lance. You can help me if I say anything wrong here, but the courts at law, we have 6 of them here in Collin County. I think 3 of them are in the runoff. The courts at law handle misdemeanors, A and B misdemeanors, as well as civil cases. Under $100,000, right?
$100,000, right?
All right, thank you very much. Why don't you spend just a minute, Lance, and tell my readers why you think they should vote for you?
Well, very quickly, I came to Collin County in 1986. I've been practicing in the civil and criminal area that entire time. This is a court of general jurisdiction, which means they handle civil and criminal cases. My practice has been probably 50-50 civil and criminal cases. These courts are probably more criminal law, 85-90% is what I hear as the numbers. And it's going to be important that we have someone that has criminal law experience in these courts. I've tried everything from a speeding ticket all the way up to a capital murder case. I've also sat for the last 14 years as a hearing master for the mental health court, so I understand mental health issues that we'll see in these types of courts. And the bar presidents have supported me. I've been endorsed by those folks, and my colleagues believe I'd be good at this. That's why I'm running. Thank
you very much, sir. State of Texas is going to be, or is already, under some very severe budget constraints. Excuse me, sir. And I know that the state legislature is looking at all sorts of ways to cut the budget. A big part of the state's budget and a big part of the county's budget is criminal justice system, and including courts and the jails and the prisons. One tactic that's getting a lot of press right now and is being tried in a lot of places is the creation of various specialty courts that would try a certain class of offender or certain crime. I think most of our DWIs, we have one court that does a lot of that already. You will sit on the board of judges for the courts at law, and so you will have an influence in the creation of specialty courts in Collin County. What is your thought on that whole?
Well, as we see the need for specialty courts, I think we should explore it. The problem is, again, money. If you don't have the money, you can't do these specialty courts. Judge Wheeler set up the DWI court that seems to be working really well, but half the time that court is full, so we seem to need more DWI courts. That's a lot of what we're going to be dealing with on the county court level. There are family courts or specialized teams from the DA's office that handle certain types of cases. And I think that if we can find a way to get those cases before judges that are specialized in certain things day in and day out, it might be efficient. Right now, though, Collin County doesn't need a whole lot of specialized courts because we wouldn't be that busy until we get it all figured out. So I probably wouldn't be as in favor of it right now for some things. As far as substance abuse, DWI, absolutely. Those people need treatment, not be put in jail. Some of the other people need other things that I guess as we see the need, we could try and adjust.
Okay, thank you very much. On your questionnaire that we gave you before the primary, one of the questions I asked you was whether you believed that our system of partisan election of trial judges should be continued. And your answer was that you didn't think it was necessarily the best way to choose judges was using partisan elections. You've had several months now where you've met a lot of voters. You've been right in the middle of the thing. You've talked to, I imagine, hundreds of people. Has that changed your opinion or reinforced it or what?
I don't think so. I don't think it's changed it at all. The problem I have with the partisan elections is you go in there and you say I'm a Democrat, you go in there and say I'm a Republican. We're supposed to be unbiased, independent judges, blind to who's in front of you. And if we're in here saying we're pro this or pro that, then we're not doing that for us. The problem also is, look what happened in Dallas a few years ago. You had a whole bunch of really good Republican judges get voted out of office because they were in the wrong party at the wrong time. If you have to look at judges independently, you're going to evaluate their credentials and hopefully vote more prudently, more intelligently, and maybe get the right people in the office, not because they're one party or the other party. And that's my big beef with the whole thing. I think city council ought to be more Republican and Democrat, because they actually make policy and make tax decisions, those types of things. But that's just my feeling. I know it's not popular, and that's fine.
Thank you very much. My last question is kind of a loaded one a little bit, but the Collin County court system has been in the press probably a lot more than it would like to, certainly more than it's used to. And a lot of that press has been somewhat negative and has cast some question on the fairness of the justice system. As you, as one of 6 court at law judges, one of 15 judges in the county, what can you do, or what can you do to assure or to reinforce the concept that a person who comes into your courtroom, be he a juror or a litigant or a defendant, is going to get a fair and impartial trial?
I'm not sure there's a whole lot we can do to make sure. If people lose, they think something happened that shouldn't have happened. But make sure they get enough time. If they want to present their case, as long as they're making progress, let them have as much time as they need to present a case. I don't think we should have arbitrary rules on voir dire, arbitrary rules on how many witnesses you can call, those types of things. And make sure, one of the things I think we need to do is make sure defendants have lawyers. If we can get lawyers to these guys and figure out a way to pay for it, everybody's going to be better off, especially the people that plead to a case and 10 years later, which they didn't have a lawyer, and then they find out that there's something on their record that they get deported, or they find out they can't own a gun, or whatever it might be. If they'd had a lawyer back 10 years prior, maybe they wouldn't have this issue that comes up. People lose their jobs because now background checks are more specific, and they're finding these deferreds, and they're holding that against people. So I would like to see the main thing, make sure people have lawyers when they come to court.
Sir, thank you very much for answering the questions so forthrightly, and good luck in your campaign. And early voting starts Monday, I believe.
Monday at 7 a.m.
Monday at 7 a.m. And Election Day is on the 13th?
13th.
13th. Thank you very much, and good luck, sir.
Thank you.
Bye.